A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on the cost of selling your home. It's an informative video, but what I realized is I could have taken it a step further and showed you the calculations. In other words, what do you get to keep when you sell your house? That's what today's video is all about. So here we go. Let's use an example of an average price home here in the Twin Cities metro area of about $300,000. The following is a list meant to be as inclusive as possible and is based upon living here in the Twin Cities metro area. Now your area may be different, so you will want to check with your agent. Here's a list of fees that you're going to encounter in the closing on the sale of your home. All right, closing costs and fees for buying a home are much different, so please do not use these numbers as an estimate for a buy side of a close, okay? So as we go through this video, I'll explain what each of these fees are, and then I'll give you an example of how much they will be and why based upon our example. Say that you owe $200,000 on your current mortgage with a $300,000 house. This will be one of the items that you're going to subtract from the proceeds of the sale. Now be aware that this number can fluctuate over time because interest will be added until you make your next payment. For example, if you look at what it today, the payoff, and then you look at it in a week and a half, it's going to be higher, all right, because interest is going to be added. And then of course, when you make the next payment, it's going to drop to a lower level. So just be aware of that, all right? All right. Next on the list for the Twin Cities or even Minnesota is what's called the state deed tax. This is exactly what it says. It's a tax on the seller to record the deed for the county in which the house is located. This rate is 0.33% or a multiplication factor of 0.0033 times the price of the house that's sold. However, if you live in the counties of Hennepin or Ramsey, you're going to pay an extra 0.01% for an environmental response fund that helps the counties with environmental cleanup in different spots. So this is the most populated, these are the most populated counties in the state, so that's why they charge. All right. So if you sold your house for $300,000 and lived in either of these counties, you would multiply 0.0034 times $300,000 and you would pay the state of Minnesota $1,020 to record the deed. Now, I'm sure your next thought in your head is, why does it cost a different amount to register a higher or lower price property? Good question. It's the same reason your car registration is more expensive for a newer car versus an older car. Okay, third on the list are property taxes. In closing on your sold home, you will either pay or get reimbursed for the taxes. Unless you are closing on June 30th or December 31st, you're not going to pay or receive anything because these are the dates that the tax pay periods end. In Minnesota, we pay in May for the first half and October for the second half. And if you have a mortgage, you most likely have your taxes escrowed and paid for you by your lender. But if you don't have a mortgage, you know all too well when you have to pay your property taxes, don't you? All right. All right, now back to our scenario. If you close on May 31st, for example, you have already paid your first half property taxes, and you'll be getting a reimbursement for the month of June from the buyer, and this will be part of the buyer's closing costs. Now, alternatively, if you close on August 31st, you will owe taxes for the months of July and August because those are not paid until October, and therefore, you're going to be paying 2 months worth of taxes. To know how much your property taxes you will owe for your sale, take your year's worth of property taxes, divide it by 12, the number of months in a year, and then multiply that result times 2 to get your total taxes paid at closing for the 2 months of July and August in our example. All right. But what I always do for my sellers when I give them a net proceeds sheet is I always give them an estimate of 3 months taxes to pay for closing. And by doing this, 11 times out of 12, it's going to be that number or less. Now here's some bonus points for you if you know which month you close in where you're going to pay more than 3 months of taxes at closing. All right, moving along to the title work, which is the next item. That will contain fees for closing as well. Title fees for a sale side have 2 items, closing fee and doc prep fee. The title company that I use charges a total of $475 for those services, which are on the lower end. However, some title companies can and do charge up to $1,500 or more, so it's best to ask the question of your listing agent. A quick side note here, you do not have to use the title company that your agent suggests. It is in the listing contract that you sign that you can pick your own title company for selling your home, and the title fees should only be somewhere around $500 or so. Much more than that, you should get a list of why they're charging these fees to you, and if you don't like it, you can go get your own title company. All right, just saying, people, be aware. Next on the list are broker fees. Now these would be the commissions that you are paying for both the buyer's agent and the listing agent. Yes, you pay the buyer's agent, the buyers do not pay their agents. I believe this is the same way all around the country, and it's pretty much standard practice. But if you want to learn more about broker fees and the commissions and how that works, you can click on a video I did a couple of weeks ago called Costs to Sell a Home. I go into great detail in that video. All right, now, the other broker fee you should be aware of is called the broker admin fee. That fee ranges from $395 to $600. If it's any more than that, you should be asking your agent a lot of questions as to why. This fee is for the brokerages to administrate the transaction and, more importantly, to keep the records for 7 years as required by law. Every brokerage charges it. I'll say that again. Every brokerage charges this. All right. And then there are miscellaneous charges that are to be paid that the title company will collect for, like city water bill or any other municipal fees that are charged. Now these are rarely over a few $100s, so don't get too wound up about them, all right? Unless, of course, you have a lot of back bills that haven't been paid. Okay, let's go through the numbers. Are you ready? Here we go. All right, on a $300,000 sale of your house, $200,000 mortgage payoff equals a remainder of $100,000. Now, we have to subtract the deed tax of about $1,000, roughly 2 to 3 months of property taxes, which we will estimate at property taxes to be $3,000 a year or $250 a month, times 3 months is $750, so we have to subtract that. Then we have to subtract the approximately $500 for title work, then subtract the selling broker's commissions of approximately $9,000, which is 3% times $300,000 is $9,000, and the buyer broker commission of $8,100, which is 2.7% times $300,000 is $8,100, and these fees are going to vary. All right, then subtract the broker admin fee of about $500 and then the miscellaneous fees of $300. Your final net proceeds sheet from the sale of your home should read $79,850. These numbers will be pretty similar across the country. There are exceptions, of course, because there are discount brokers and they aren't full service, so be aware of that. And these numbers that I gave you today are based upon a full service brokerage. If you like this video and are looking to list your home and are wondering how in the heck you keep it clean while selling, you should check out my other video called Keeping Your House Clean While It's Selling. It's got some great information, and some of the items that I listed there just might surprise you. All right, and as always, if you like what I share, click the like, subscribe, and the bell to be notified when I upload a new video. I appreciate your time today, and thanks for watching.